Listening is an essential component in learning any language, and when it comes to mastering English, its importance cannot be overstated. Many learners focus on reading, writing, and speaking, but they often underestimate the role of listening. However, listening is the gateway to understanding and internalizing the nuances of the language. It's through active listening that learners develop a deeper comprehension of vocabulary, pronunciation, intonation, rhythm, and the natural flow of English conversation. Without effective listening skills, learners may struggle to grasp the context of spoken English, making communication challenging and hindering overall fluency when learning English. Listening allows you to hear how words are pronounced and how sentences are constructed in real time. This exposure is crucial for developing an intuitive understanding of the language. English, like many other languages, has rules of pronunciation that aren't always reflected in the spelling of words. Consider words like though, through, and tough, which all look similar but are pronounced quite differently. Through listening, learners can identify the correct pronunciation of these tricky words and internalize them for future use. This helps them avoid common pitfalls that arise from relying solely on reading and writing. Moreover, listening is vital because language is about communication. And communication is a two-way street. Listening allows learners to engage in meaningful interactions and participate in conversations. By listening to native speakers or fluent English users, learners can grasp how sentences are formed, the nuances of grammar in spoken language, and the contextual use of words and phrases. For example, textbook English may teach formal grammar, but real-life conversations often include contractions, idioms, and colloquial expressions that are crucial for fluency but are not always found in written language. Another critical reason why listening is essential to learning English is that it exposes learners to various accents, dialects, and styles of speech. English is a global language spoken by millions of people with different accents: British, American, Australian, Indian, South African, and many more. Each accent has its unique sound patterns, pronunciation quirks, and vocabulary usage. Without consistent listening practice, learners may find it difficult to understand different varieties of English. Exposure to a range of accents through listening to podcasts, radio, television shows, or conversations ensures that learners become adaptable and flexible in understanding the language. Regardless of how it's spoken, listening also helps learners understand the rhythm and intonation of English. Every language has its natural rhythm, and English is no different. Sentences rise and fall in pitch depending on the speaker's emotions, intent, or the structure of the sentence. For example, questions in English often end on a higher pitch, while statements may end on a lower one. These subtle cues are difficult to pick up through reading alone and can only be fully understood through listening. Mastering intonation and rhythm not only makes learners sound more natural when speaking English but also helps them comprehend the emotions or intentions behind the words of others. In addition, listening plays a significant role in developing better speaking skills. Speaking and listening are intertwined. After all, a conversation is a dialogue, not a monologue. By listening to how native speakers form their sentences, learners can imitate and practice speaking more naturally. For instance, listening to native speakers helps learners understand when to pause, how to emphasize certain words for effect, and how to structure sentences in a way that sounds fluent and natural. Mimicking what they hear also improves their pronunciation and confidence in speaking English. In essence, listening provides the foundation upon which strong speaking skills are built. Listening to English content also helps learners develop a feel for grammatical structures. While grammar books are useful for learning the rules, listening helps learners see how those rules are applied in everyday communication. Often, spoken English features grammatical shortcuts or patterns that are not covered in formal lessons. Through listening, learners can understand these patterns and apply them in their own speech without overthinking the technical aspects of grammar. This allows for a more fluid and intuitive use of the language, rather than mechanically following grammar rules. Moreover, in the digital age, access to English audio content is easier than ever. From podcasts and YouTube videos to audiobooks and language apps, learners can immerse themselves in English listening practice at any time. This access to a wide variety of authentic English content accelerates the learning process. With so much material available, learners can tailor their listening practice to their interests, whether it's listening to news, entertainment, educational content, or interviews. The key is to engage with the language consistently, as regular exposure sharpens both listening and overall language skills. In conclusion, listening is an indispensable part of learning English. It's through listening that learners improve their pronunciation, grasp the nuances of grammar, and develop the ability to understand different accents and speech patterns. Listening provides exposure to the natural rhythm and flow of the language, helping learners sound more fluent and authentic in their communication. Additionally, it enhances vocabulary retention and improves comprehension, enabling learners to participate in conversations with greater ease and confidence. Therefore, if you are learning English, making listening a core part of your practice will significantly enhance your proficiency and accelerate your journey to fluency. Improving listening skills in English requires consistent practice, active engagement, and a variety of techniques to expose yourself to the language. Here are several effective strategies to help you boost your English listening skills. 1. Listen to a variety of sources. To become better at understanding English, it's essential to expose yourself to a range of different sources. Each source may present new accents, vocabularies, and speaking styles, helping you become more adaptable. Podcasts and audiobooks. These are great tools for language learners because they often provide clear, structured language. Find podcasts that interest you, news, storytelling, education, etc., or listen to audiobooks in English. TV shows and movies. Watching English language shows or films exposes you to real-world, conversational English. Try using subtitles at first, and gradually reduce them as you become more comfortable. YouTube channels. Many YouTube creators focus on language learning or general content in English. Watching native speakers talk about a variety of topics can help improve your comprehension skills. 2. Practice active listening. Active listening means fully focusing on the speaker and trying to understand both the content and the nuances of what's being said. To practice active listening, focus on the main ideas. Instead of trying to understand every single word, aim to grasp the main ideas and key points of what you're listening to. This will improve your comprehension over time. Pause and repeat. When watching videos or listening to podcasts, pause frequently to review what you've heard. Rewind if necessary to repeat certain phrases until you feel comfortable with them. Take notes. Write down unfamiliar words, phrases, or sentences. Afterward, look them up and practice using them. 3. Shadowing. Shadowing is a language learning technique where you listen to a speaker and try to repeat exactly what they are saying. This method helps you improve both listening and speaking skills at the same time. Choose short audio clips. Start with manageable content such as short dialogues, speeches, or excerpts from podcasts. Mimic the speaker's intonation and rhythm. While shadowing, pay attention not just to the words but also to how the speaker is saying them. Intonation, stress, and rhythm are crucial in English. 4. Use English listening apps. Several apps are designed specifically to help learners improve their listening skills in English. These apps often provide graded listening exercises, quizzes, and interactive content. BBC Learning English. This app provides listening exercises for various levels, along with vocabulary explanations and transcripts. Duolingo and Memrise. While primarily known for teaching vocabulary, these apps have listening exercises that help reinforce your comprehension. 5. Watch with subtitles, then without. Subtitles can be an excellent aid in the early stages of improving your listening. However, As you progress, it's essential to challenge yourself by watching content without subtitles. First, pass with subtitles. Begin by watching a video or show with English subtitles to help you associate the spoken words with their written form. Second, pass without subtitles. Once you feel more confident, re-watch the same material without subtitles to test your understanding. You'll likely notice a significant improvement. 6. Engage in real conversations. Listening in real-life conversations is one of the best ways to develop listening skills. Conversations force you to process information in real time, helping you improve both comprehension and response time. Language exchange programs, platforms like Tandem or HelloTalk allow you to find native English speakers with whom you can practice language exchange either in person or online. Join English speaking clubs. Many communities, schools, and online platforms offer English conversation clubs. These are great opportunities to practice listening to English speakers in a supportive environment. 7. Listen to English music. Listening to English music can make language learning fun and engaging. Pay attention to the lyrics, and try to follow along with the songs. Read the lyrics, find the lyrics to songs you enjoy and sing along. This helps reinforce pronunciation and introduces new vocabulary in a natural context. Analyze the meaning. After listening to a song, think about what the lyrics mean. This can help with comprehension, especially for figurative language or idiomatic expressions used in the songs. 8. Focus on pronunciation patterns. English has a variety of pronunciation quirks, including stress patterns, connected speech, and reductions, e.g., going to, becoming, gonna. By focusing on these aspects, you'll better understand native speakers and improve your overall listening skills. Listen for stressed words. In English, important words, like nouns and verbs, are typically stressed, while smaller words, like articles or prepositions, are unstressed. Paying attention to this pattern will help you catch the essential parts of a conversation. Connected speech. Native speakers often link words together, making it hard for learners to distinguish individual words. Listen carefully for how words are connected, and practice doing the same in your speech. 9. Use transcripts. Many podcasts, audiobooks, and videos come with transcripts. Reading along with the transcript as you listen helps reinforce your understanding of the words and phrases being spoken. Listen first, then read. Try listening to an audio clip once without reading the transcript, and see how much you can understand. Then, read the transcript to fill in the gaps and check your comprehension. 10. Be patient and consistent. Improving listening skills takes time, and it's important to stay patient and persistent. Make listening practice a daily habit, even if it's just for a few minutes. Daily practice, consistency is key. Set aside a few minutes every day to listen to something in English. It could be the news, a podcast, or even a conversation with a friend. Gradually increase the difficulty. Start with content that's easier for you to understand, e.g., beginner podcasts or children's shows, then move on to more complex content like news reports, interviews, and fast-paced movies. The time it takes to improve your English listening skills depends on several factors, including your current level of proficiency, the amount of time you dedicate to practice, the methods you use, and your exposure to the language. There isn't a fixed timeline, but here are some general considerations. 1. Current proficiency level. Beginner. If you're starting from scratch, it may take a few months to develop a basic understanding of spoken English. You'll likely begin by recognizing common words and phrases before being able to follow simple conversations. Intermediate. If you already have a foundation, improvement can be faster, often within 2 to 3 months of regular practice. At this stage, you may understand more conversational English, but may still struggle with fast speech or unfamiliar accents. Advanced. At an advanced level, refining your listening skills to understand different accents, slang, and complex dialogues can take several months of exposure, depending on how often you practice. 2. Amount of time dedicated. Daily practice. 1 to 2 hours per day. Consistent daily practice can lead to noticeable improvement within a few months. For example, listening to English content for an hour each day, combined with active listening techniques, can rapidly boost your comprehension. Less frequent practice, 1 to 2 hours per week. If you practice less frequently, it may take longer, perhaps 6 to 12 months, to see substantial progress. Regularity is key, so spreading out the practice across the week is more effective than cramming. 3. Methods and tools used. The strategies and tools you use to practice listening also impact how quickly you improve. Active listening, engaging actively by taking notes, shadowing, or repeating can accelerate improvement. Variety of sources. Exposing yourself to diverse content like podcasts, movies, and conversations ensures that you don't just learn one type of English but become adaptable. Language immersion. Full immersion, such as living in an English-speaking environment or consistently surrounding yourself with English content, can significantly shorten the learning time. 4. Exposure to real-life conversations. Engaging in actual conversations with native or fluent speakers speeds up progress. The ability to process spoken language in real time, ask for clarifications, and understand natural pauses or fillers in speech can enhance listening skills more rapidly than passive listening alone. 5. Personal motivation and consistency. Your level of motivation and the consistency of your efforts play a major role. Highly motivated learners who regularly challenge themselves with increasingly difficult content often improve faster. In contrast, sporadic practice without a clear goal can delay progress. Estimated timelines for improvement, beginner to intermediate. With consistent practice, most learners can move from a beginner to an intermediate level in listening comprehension within 3 to 6 months. Intermediate to advanced. Improving from intermediate to advanced comprehension may take 6 months to a year, depending on the intensity of practice and exposure to various accents and complex content. Advanced mastery, reaching a near-native level of listening comprehension, where you can effortlessly understand fast-paced or highly idiomatic speech, might take 1 to 2 years of immersion and focused practice. Ultimately, the time it takes to improve your English listening skills varies based on your individual circumstances. However, with focused, consistent effort, most learners will see noticeable improvement within a few months. Staying motivated while improving your English listening skills can be challenging, especially since language learning is a long-term process. Here are some effective strategies to help you stay motivated. 1. Set clear, achievable goals. Break it down, instead of vague goals like improve listening. Set specific, measurable objectives. For example, understand 70% of a 10-minute podcast without subtitles, or follow a conversation on a particular topic like travel or technology. Short-term goals. Break your long-term goals into smaller, achievable milestones. For instance, aim to understand a specific number of new words or phrases each week. Celebrate progress. Reward yourself when you reach your goals. Achieving small victories keeps you motivated and boosts your confidence. 2. Use content that interests you. Follow your passions. Listen to English content related to your hobbies, interests, or passions. If you love cooking, listen to cooking shows or food-related podcasts. If you enjoy technology, tune into tech podcasts or YouTube channels. Watch movies or series. Choose English language movies or TV shows that entertain you. Engaging with content that you enjoy makes learning feel less like work and more like fun. Diverse content. Vary the content you listen to, from podcasts and audiobooks to music and radio shows. This variety keeps things interesting and helps you engage with English in different contexts. 3. Track your progress. Journaling. Keep a listening journal where you record new words, phrases, or expressions you've learned. Seeing how much you've improved over time can be a powerful motivator. Use apps with progress tracking. Apps like Duolingo or Memrise track your learning streaks and offer rewards or achievements, giving you a sense of accomplishment. Before and after comparison. every few weeks, revisit a challenging audio clip or conversation that you found difficult earlier, and compare how much more you understand now. 4. Create a routine. Consistency is key. Establish a daily or weekly routine for listening practice. Even if it's just 15 to 30 minutes a day, consistent exposure is crucial for improvement. Make it habitual. Attach listening practice to your daily habits. For example, listen to English content during your commute, while exercising, or as part of your morning routine. Use short practice sessions. It's better to practice listening for 20 minutes every day than cramming hours into one day. Regular, shorter sessions help maintain motivation and prevent burnout. 5. Practice with others. Language exchange. Join a language exchange group or find a language partner with whom you can practice listening and speaking. Speaking to someone in real time will also motivate you to improve your listening skills. Study groups. Join online study groups or English-speaking communities. Sharing progress and challenges with others helps maintain accountability and provide support. Challenge a friend. If you have a friend learning English, set challenges for each other, like listening to the same podcast and discussing it later. 6. Use gamification. Language apps with games. Use apps that gamify the learning process, offering points, levels, and rewards. Apps like Duolingo, Memrise, and Babbel have game-like elements to keep you engaged. Turn listening into a game. Set personal challenges like how many words can I understand in a 5-minute podcast? Or how fast can I transcribe a conversation? Make it a fun challenge to beat your previous records. 7. Mix learning with relaxation. Listen to music. If you're feeling tired or demotivated, switch to English music and try to follow the lyrics. Music is a great way to relax while still engaging with the language. Combine with other activities. Multitask by listening to English content while doing something else, like cooking, exercising, or driving. This way, you keep learning without feeling overwhelmed. 8. Stay inspired by real-life stories. Watch success stories. Many English learners have shared their stories online about how they improved their language skills. Watching or reading about their progress can inspire you to keep going. Follow role models. Find influencers, teachers, or successful learners who share language tips and motivation on YouTube, podcasts, or social media. Their experiences and advice can keep you motivated. 9. Change your mindset. Embrace mistakes. Understand that making mistakes is a natural part of language learning. Don't be afraid of not understanding everything. Over time, it will get easier. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Instead of fixating solely on the end goal of fluency, appreciate the small improvements and enjoy the journey of learning. Visualize success. Imagine how mastering English listening will improve your life, whether it's better job prospects, more travel opportunities, or personal satisfaction. This vision can serve as a powerful motivator. 10. Take breaks when needed. Avoid burnout. Don't push yourself too hard. If you feel tired or frustrated, take a short break to recharge. A fresh mind absorbs information more effectively. Alternate between easy and challenging content. Mix in content you find easier or more enjoyable with more challenging material. This balance helps keep motivation high and reduces the feeling of being overwhelmed. 11. Monitor your emotional and mental state. Stay positive. Remind yourself why you started learning English in the first place and how much progress you've already made. A positive mindset keeps you moving forward. Reward yourself. Celebrate small victories along the way, whether it's understanding a tricky podcast, watching a movie without subtitles, or having your first successful conversation in English. By using these strategies, you can maintain your motivation over the long term, making your journey toward mastering English listening skills both enjoyable and rewarding. The key is to stay consistent, keep the learning process fun, and always celebrate progress, no matter how small. Testing your progress and improving your English listening skills is important for tracking growth and identifying areas that need further development. Here are several effective ways to evaluate your progress. 1. Take listening comprehension tests, online tests. Many websites offer free listening comprehension tests at different levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced. Platforms like BBC Learning English, Cambridge English, and TOEFL provide standardized listening exercises with questions that test your understanding. Language learning apps like Duolingo and Memrise offer quizzes that test your listening comprehension. They often include a mix of listening exercises with multiple-choice questions or sentence completion tasks. Standardized exams. Consider taking a formal language proficiency test like IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge English. These exams have listening sections designed to assess your ability to understand different types of spoken English. 2. Use subtitles as a benchmark. Without subtitles first. Watch a video or listen to a podcast without subtitles and try to understand as much as you can. Afterward, watch the same content with subtitles to compare your understanding. Track how long you can go without subtitles. Over time, try to increase the length of time you watch content without relying on subtitles. The more content you can follow without them, the better your progress. 3. Keep a listening journal. Track new vocabulary. Write down new words and phrases you hear during listening practice. After some time, review these notes and see if you can recall and use them in context. Rate your understanding. After each listening practice, rate your comprehension on a scale of 1 to 10. Over time, you'll notice improvements in how much you understand. 4. Self-assessment. Summarize what you've heard. Listen and summarize. After listening to a podcast, audio clip, or conversation, try to summarize it in your own words, either orally or in writing. The more accurately you can summarize the content, the better your listening comprehension. Details and keywords. Focus on recalling the main ideas, keywords, or specific details. Compare this to the transcript, if available, or re-listen to check for any gaps in your understanding. 5. Transcription exercises. Write what you hear, select a short audio clip, 30 seconds to a minute, and try to transcribe everything you hear. After transcribing, compare it to the official transcript, if available, or replay the clip to see how close you were. Increase complexity. Start with slower, easier content and gradually work your way up to more complex or faster-paced material. Your progress will be evident as you become better at catching every word. 6. Monitor real-life conversations with native speakers. Engage in conversations with fluent English speakers, either in person or online. Evaluate how well you can follow the conversation without needing repetition or clarification. Track improvement. Over time, you should notice that you understand more of the conversation, need fewer clarifications, and feel more confident responding. 7. Compare with previous performance. Revisit old material. Go back to listening material that you struggled with previously, such as a podcast episode, a movie, or an audiobook chapter. Try it again after a few weeks or months of practice and see how much more you understand. Track your speed. As your listening improves, you'll find that you need less time to understand spoken content. Keep track of how quickly you can comprehend certain audio clips over time. 8. Engage in interactive listening games, apps with feedback. Use apps or games designed to improve listening skills, such as Rosetta Stone, Lingoda, or SpeechLing. These platforms offer immediate feedback on how well you understood a spoken segment. Interactive quizzes. Some online platforms provide interactive listening quizzes that adapt to your level and offer detailed performance reports. These reports highlight areas of improvement and track progress over time. 9. Dictation practice. Dictation software or websites use dictation exercises, where you listen to a passage and type exactly what you hear. Websites like Elo and Dictation.io offer free dictation exercises that allow you to practice listening and writing simultaneously. Accuracy check. Compare your typed text with the original to measure how accurately you've captured the spoken words. Over time, you'll notice fewer errors and improved word recognition. 10. Fluency in conversations. Use real conversations as a benchmark. Pay attention to how often you need someone to slow down, repeat, or rephrase something for you. Over time, as your listening skills improve, you should be able to follow conversations more easily and need less clarification. Measure response time. As you listen, track how quickly you're able to respond to what someone is saying. Improved listening comprehension will lead to faster and more natural responses during conversations. 11. Use different accents and speech patterns. Test with varied accents. Challenge yourself by listening to different English accents, British, American, Australian, etc. Monitor how much of the speech you can understand. The more accents and dialects you become familiar with, the better your overall comprehension. Track improvement across different speakers. As you expose yourself to different accents, you'll notice improvements in your ability to understand diverse English speakers without as much difficulty. 12. Timed listening practice. Set time limits. Listen to audio for a fixed period, e.g., 5 or 10 minutes, and try to grasp as much as you can within that time frame. Each week, increase the time or the complexity of the content. Increase listening speed. Over time, try listening to faster-paced content or speed up audio. Many apps let you increase playback speed to see if you can still comprehend it. If you can keep up, it's a sign that your listening skills are improving. 13. Feedback from others. Ask for feedback. If you practice listening and speaking in a conversation with a native or fluent English speaker, ask them for feedback on how well you understood them. They can point out areas where you may have struggled and offer advice. Language exchange partners. Language exchange partners can help gauge your progress. As you get better, they'll likely notice that you're asking for fewer clarifications or can follow conversations more easily. 14. Engage in listening challenges. Challenge yourself. Set personal challenges like understand a news report without pausing or listen to an audiobook chapter and explain it. Track how often you can complete these challenges without struggling. Weekly or monthly check-ins. Every week or month, test yourself against the same audio content to measure how much more you can understand or how much quicker you grasp the message. By using a combination of these strategies, you'll be able to accurately track your progress in English listening comprehension. Regular testing not only shows improvement but also highlights specific areas where more practice is needed, keeping you motivated and focused on your learning goals. Testing your progress in English listening skills is crucial for ensuring that you are continually improving and staying on track with your learning goals. Since listening is one of the most challenging aspects of language acquisition, especially in a complex language like English, it requires deliberate practice and evaluation. Whether you are aiming for conversational fluency, preparing for an exam like IELTS or TOEFL, or simply hoping to enjoy English language media without subtitles, regular assessment helps you measure how far you've come and identify areas for improvement. This detailed guide will explore multiple methods and techniques for testing your progress, ensuring that your efforts are effective and targeted. Take listening comprehension tests. One of the most direct ways to test your listening comprehension is through structured tests, which provide quantifiable feedback on your performance. Many online platforms, apps, and language courses offer listening exercises tailored to various skill levels, from beginner to advanced. These tests typically involve listening to a passage, either a conversation, a speech, or a narrative, and then answering questions to assess how well you understood the content. Online platforms, websites such as BBC Learning English, Cambridge English, and ESL Lab provide free listening comprehension exercises designed to challenge learners at different levels. These exercises often feature various accents, speeds of speech, and contexts, such as casual conversations, formal interviews, or news reports. Each exercise is followed by a set of questions, usually multiple choice or fill in the blank, allowing you to gauge your understanding of key ideas, details, and inferences. Standardized tests. if you're preparing for an English proficiency exam like IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge English, the listening sections of these tests are a reliable way to assess your progress. These standardized tests are designed to evaluate your ability to understand spoken English in both everyday and academic contexts. Practicing with sample listening sections from these exams will not only test your comprehension but also prepare you for the format and pace of the real test. Apps and games. Language learning apps such as Duolingo, Memrise, and Babbel offer integrated listening comprehension quizzes. These apps use gamification techniques, allowing you to track your progress over time and see how your listening skills improve. As you move through different levels, you encounter increasingly complex audio material, helping you adapt to various speakers, accents, and vocabulary. Use subtitles as a benchmark. A practical way to test your listening progress is by using subtitles in combination with video or audio content. This method allows you to assess how much you can understand on your own before relying on subtitles for clarification. Without subtitles first, start by watching a movie, TV show, or video in English without using subtitles. Focus on grasping the main ideas, key details, and specific vocabulary. After you've watched the content, turn on the subtitles and watch it again. Compare how much you understood from the first viewing and note where you missed important points. This method provides immediate feedback and helps you see how your listening skills are improving over time. Tracking progress. Over time, you should aim to watch longer segments of content without subtitles. You can track your progress by timing how long you can follow the audio or video before needing subtitles. For example, if you start by understanding the first 2 minutes of a podcast without subtitles, work towards increasing that to 5 or 10 minutes. Keep a listening journal. Keeping a listening journal is an excellent way to reflect on your progress and document your learning process. This approach not only helps you track improvements but also allows you to record new vocabulary, phrases, and expressions that you encounter during your listening practice. Tracking new vocabulary. Every time you listen to a podcast, watch a video, or engage in a conversation, write down any new words or phrases you didn't understand initially. Look them up, learn their meanings, and practice using them in context. Over time, you can revisit your journal to see how many of these new words have become part of your active vocabulary. Rate your understanding. After each listening practice, give yourself a score or a brief written reflection on how well you understood the material. You could use a scale from 1 to 10 to rate your comprehension. For example, a 1 might mean you only caught a few words, while a 10 means you understood everything perfectly. This simple self-assessment provides a clear, visual way to track your progress over time. Self-assessment. Summarize what you've heard. One of the most effective ways to test your listening comprehension is by summarizing what you've heard in your own words. After listening to an audio clip, podcast, or conversation, take a few minutes to mentally or physically summarize the content, summarizing out loud or in writing, after listening to a passage. Try summarizing it aloud or writing it down. Focus on capturing the main ideas, key points, and important details. Compare your summary to the original content or a transcript, if available, to check for accuracy. This practice helps reinforce what you've heard and tests your ability to retain and process information in real time. Focus on key details. When summarizing, pay particular attention to specific details such as dates, names, numbers, and locations. Being able to recall these small but important elements is a sign of improved listening comprehension. If you struggle with recalling such details, listen to the content again and try to focus on picking up these specifics. Transcription exercises. Transcription exercises are a more advanced way to test your listening skills and can be incredibly effective in improving both your listening and writing abilities. Write what you hear. Select a short audio clip, such as a news report, an interview, or a podcast episode, and transcribe everything you hear. The goal is to capture every word as accurately as possible. This exercise forces you to listen closely to every sound, word, and phrase. Once you've completed your transcription, compare it to the original transcript, if available, or re-listen to the clip to see how accurate you were. Track improvement. Over time, you can track your transcription accuracy and increase the complexity of the content you transcribe. Start with slower, easier material and gradually work up to faster-paced or more complex conversations. Your transcription will become more accurate as your listening comprehension improves, and you'll find that you can keep up with more challenging content. Monitor real-life conversations. Engaging in real-life conversations is one of the best ways to test your listening comprehension in a practical, everyday context. Conversations involve more than just passive listening, they require active engagement, understanding, and responding in real time. Conversations with native speakers. Try to engage in conversations with native English speakers, either in person or online, through language exchange programs. Monitor how well you can follow the flow of the conversation without needing things repeated or clarified. This will give you a real-world test of how your listening skills are improving. Track improvement. Over time, you should notice that you're able to follow conversations more easily, even when the topic is unfamiliar or the speaker uses more complex vocabulary or faster speech. You'll also notice that you need fewer repetitions or clarifications, which is a clear indicator that your listening skills are improving. Compare with previous performance. An effective way to test your listening progress is to revisit old material that you found challenging. By comparing your understanding of the same content over time, you can clearly see how much you've improved. Revisit old material, go back to an audio clip, podcast, or video that you struggled with weeks or months ago. Try listening to it again and compare how much more you understand now compared to your first attempt. This method provides a concrete way to measure your progress, as you'll likely find that what once seemed difficult is now much easier to comprehend. Track your speed. Another way to measure progress is to track how quickly you can understand spoken English. For example, if you once had to pause or slow down a podcast to catch every word, see if you can now listen at a normal speed without needing to pause. Improved comprehension speed is a strong indicator of progress. Engage in interactive listening games. Interactive games that focus on listening comprehension can provide an enjoyable way to test your progress. Many language learning apps and websites offer games designed to improve listening skills while providing feedback on your performance. Use apps with feedback. Apps like Rosetta Stone, SpeechLing, and Lingota offer interactive listening exercises where you can listen to sentences or dialogues and answer questions or repeat what you've heard. These platforms often provide immediate feedback on how well you understood or pronounced the content. Language learning games. Some apps, such as Mango Languages or HelloTalk, turn listening comprehension into a game, with quizzes, challenges, and rewards. These games adapt to your skill level and track your progress, helping you stay motivated while testing your skills. Dictation practice. Dictation is another powerful tool for testing and improving your listening skills. This exercise involves listening to spoken content and typing or writing down exactly what you hear. Dictation software. Websites like dictation.io and Ello offer dictation exercises where you listen to a passage and transcribe it. These exercises test your ability to recognize individual words, sounds, and sentence structures, especially when spoken at natural speeds. Accuracy check. Once you've completed your dictation, compare your written version with the original text to check for accuracy. Over time, you'll notice that your transcriptions become more accurate, and you're able to keep up with more complex and faster-paced speech. Monitor fluency in conversations. Your fluency in real-life conversations is a clear indicator of how much your listening comprehension has improved. This goes beyond just understanding words, it involves your ability to engage in a fluid and natural exchange with others. Engage in real conversations. Pay attention to how often you need someone to slow down, repeat themselves, or rephrase something for you. As your listening improves, you'll notice that you're able to follow conversations more easily and respond more confidently. Measure response time. Another way to gauge your progress is by tracking how quickly you can respond to what someone says. If you can listen and immediately understand what's being said, your responses will be quicker and more natural, reflecting improved listening fluency. Use different accents and speech patterns. English is a global language spoken with a wide variety of accents, dialects, and speech patterns. Testing your comprehension across different accents will not only improve your listening skills but also prepare you for real-world interactions with English speakers from diverse backgrounds. Listen to varied accents. Challenge yourself by listening to English speakers from different regions, such as British, American, Australian, Indian, or South African accents. You can use resources like podcasts, interviews, and movies to expose yourself to different ways English is spoken. Track how much of the speech you understand and note any difficulties with certain accents. Track progress across accents. As you continue practicing, you'll notice improvements in your ability to understand different accents and dialects. This will help you feel more confident when interacting with English speakers from various parts of the world. Timed listening practice. Timed listening practice can help you measure how long you can focus and comprehend spoken English without becoming overwhelmed. This method is particularly useful for improving concentration and stamina in listening to English for extended periods. Set time limits. Start by listening to audio or video content for a fixed period, such as 5 or 10 minutes. Your goal is to understand as much as possible within that time frame. Each week, increase the duration or the complexity of the content. By pushing yourself to listen for longer periods, you'll build both your comprehension and your ability to concentrate on spoken English. Increase listening speed. Many platforms allow you to adjust the playback speed of audio content. As your skills improve, try listening to content at a faster speed to test your ability to comprehend rapid speech. If you can still follow the conversation or lecture at a higher speed, it's a sign that your listening comprehension is advancing. Feedback from others. Getting feedback from others, particularly fluent or native speakers, is an excellent way to assess your listening skills. Their outside perspective can help you identify areas of improvement that you might not notice on your own. Ask for feedback. After a conversation or language exchange, ask your conversation partner to provide feedback on how well you understood them. They can point out specific areas where you may have struggled, such as with certain accents, vocabulary, or complex sentence structures. Language exchange partners. Participating in a language exchange program, where you converse with a native English speaker in exchange for helping them with your native language, is an ideal way to test your listening skills. Your partner will likely notice if you're asking for fewer clarifications or if you can follow the conversation more easily over time, giving you valuable insight into your progress. Engage in listening challenges. Setting personal challenges is a great way to keep yourself motivated and test your listening skills in real-world situations. These challenges can be as simple or as complex as you like, but they should push you out of your comfort zone. Create challenges. Set goals such as understand a news report without pausing or listen to an audiobook chapter and explain it without using a transcript. By gradually increasing the difficulty of these challenges, you'll continuously test your listening comprehension and improve your skills. Check in regularly. Set weekly or monthly benchmarks to test yourself. For example, you might choose to listen to the same news segment every month and see how much more you understand over time. This consistent approach to testing will give you a clear picture of your progress. By using a combination of these strategies, you'll be able to track your progress in listening comprehension effectively. Regularly testing yourself not only shows how far you've come but also highlights areas where more practice is needed. This structured approach ensures that you continue to improve your English listening skills and reach your language learning goals.